this is Massimo, and here's a quick video about the sequence function. So, the sequence editor looks very similar to the chaser editor, but sequences and chasers are different functions. To better understand the differences among the two types of function, I'm gonna show you a concrete examples. So I'm gonna get rid of this one, and then I'm gonna create a chaser with 5 steps. So first of all, I select some fixtures, I create a color and dump 2 functions. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have my 5 scenes. I select them all and I create a chaser. So as you can see, I have a chaser of 5 steps. Let's reset this. I have a chaser of 5 steps where each step is actually a dedicated function. In this case, they are all scenes, but a chaser, as we mentioned in another video, can play any type of function as a step. This is the very first difference between a chaser and a sequence. So now let's create a sequence that does exactly the same thing. So I'm gonna select the 5 fixtures, I'm gonna add a sequence. Here it is. Select them again, and I can start adding steps. So add 1 step, which is my red color, and then another step, yellow, green, cyan, and blue. Okay, I have created my 5 steps, so I can play my sequence, and this is the result, which is actually the same of the chaser I created before. So what is the difference? So as you can see, there's no function indication here, for the simple reason that the function is actually a scene. So a sequence is based on a single scene, which is not even visible in the function list. So the scene on which the sequence is based on is basically hidden because you cannot reuse it in other functions. So it's actually the block that allows the sequence to exist. So what I've done, I've dumped a few colors so that I can inspect on each step. But basically, each step is a set of values for always the same scene. So what is the actual advantage of this? First of all, you just have one function and technically one hidden function, but you'll never worry about it because you cannot actually see it. So basically the first huge advantage is that you have one function rather than the number of steps plus one chaser. So one single function. Then the other advantage is that if you have to add more fixtures here, in case of a chaser, you need to open each scene and modify it, and then you will have the change in the chaser. But in case of a sequence, you just need to add some more fixtures. For example, if I want to add a moving head, doesn't have anything to do with the RGB parts that I have already added, for example. If I want to add more fixtures like this, I can do it like this. And the interesting thing is that my 3 new fixtures are basically present in every step. So if I, for example, want to, for some reason, I want to set the intensity of this moving head here at this value, I will have this value replicated on each step. So it's very easy to add more fixtures, more channels, as long as your sequence can be all the same basically scene, the same set of channels. So one thing you probably noticed when I created the sequence steps is that the preview of the selected channels was not enabled. This has a reason, and the reason is that if you create a scene is a static function, so previewing it has an immediate effect like this. while when editing a scene, you are basically in a sequence of steps. So enabling the preview will actually start the sequence. So for this specific case, there is another button that you can toggle to preview the values of the channels of a specific step. So when toggling this button here, you can see the values of the different steps. And if you add a new one, you will have the preview of the new values like this. Toggling the preview can be useful if you want to make changes to a sequence while in a live show. So if you don't want the output to be transmitted, you can do it in another way. For example, if you change values from here, it is not reflected to the output. Last thing, similar to the chaser editor, steps of a sequence can actually be reordered like this. And you can also, for example, create notes like green, so you can remember what was a specific step of a sequence. So to recap, each step of a sequence is based on the same scene. So every step of a sequence affects the same channels of the same scene, of the shared basically scene, while each step of a chaser can be any type of function QLC plus offers. The other main difference is that you can dynamically add or remove fixtures and therefore channels to a sequence with less effort than editing each step of a chaser. And so basically a sequence is in some way lighter than a chaser. In the next video about the show manager, we will see how sequences fit so well on a timeline organization where you want as much as possible to be efficient and to separate topics from one track to another. So I think for this video, this is all. Thanks for watching and ciao!